Where was this performance on Wednesday night? Where was this performance in the Europa League? Because from minute 1 to minute 90, we were everywhere. We were all over Villa. We were fantastic. Of course, the second half was against 10 men, which helped. But even against 11 men, we were suffering Villa. We were beating them to the second balls. We looked like the team with Champions League football on the line. And Aston Villa looked like the side that had just lost the Europa League final and season had nothing to play for. And Aston Villa, look, the referee had a howler. I feel for Villa a little bit because although Man United deserved to win, Villa did not show up. And at the end of the day, Villa can only have themselves to blame. That referee has potentially cost them Champions League football, and there's big financial ramifications of that. Because that was a goal for Morgan Rogers. Did Aston Villa deserve to be 1-0 up? No. But was that a goal for Morgan Rogers? Absolutely. It wasn't VAR, it was the referee. People who are blaming VAR, it wasn't VAR, it was the referee. He blew the whistle. There's nothing VAR can do. If VAR changed the rule on that one occasion, when, every other time someone's blown the whistle, then everyone will be going, oh, VAR have changed the rules for Villa. Look, there needs to be a rule change or a change next season so that doesn't happen again, because that potential decision has cost Villa UCL football. But the problem is, the whole talk from this game is going to be about Villa and how Villa were robbed and all of this and how lucky Man United were and VAR just United from people that didn't watch the game. Man United were not lucky. The referee had a howler, but how many times have we been on the back end of refereeing howlers? So many times. The referee had a howler, and you know what? Man United deserved that luck today. Man United deserved to win. Man United could have been 4-0 up before the Morgan Rogers goal went in. We deserved that luck. Bayindir, I told you this, guys. Bayindir is not better than Onana. A lot of people were saying we need to drop Onana for Bayindir, and I said, as bad as Onana is, I've always said to you guys, Bayindir is worse. So can we all mutually agree now that Bayindir is shocking? Like, Onana might be bad, but he ain't worse than Bayindir. We're going to just say that. Second of all, Bruno Fernandes. Excellent performance. That ball to Amad. Amad Diallo, I thought started quiet, but then the goal, the penalty. Did anyone think Bruno giving the penalty to Eriksen's a suggestion that Bruno will be here next season as well? Because surely if it's Bruno's final season, he wants to take that goal. I don't know, mate. I don't know. So shame Evans didn't score at the end. But let's actually talk about the game. First of all, I'm really annoyed we didn't see that on Wednesday. Where was that effort? Where was that winning the 50-50s? Where was that fight? But it was a very similar lineup. There was obviously no Luke Shaw. Lindelof had come in. Heaven had come in. Ayden Heaven was excellent today, by the way. But where was that? Now, my thoughts from the game. The negatives, Rasmus Højlund, his touch. Was it Amad that put a really good ball into him? His touch. He did get Martinez sent off. I don't even know if Højlund would have scored. Like, that Martinez thing was the most blatant red card ever. I saw somebody telling me that was not a red on Twitter. Someone was telling me that's not a red card. United are lucky. I'm sorry, how's that not a red card? In what world is that not a red card? Like, Emi Martinez is a knobhead. It's an absolute knobhead. Why would he do that? It was just funny because he just took out Højlund. There was no intent of getting the ball. It was just take out Højlund. I don't know what he was thinking in his head. He was never going to get away with that. It was always a red card. And it's Højlund. It's not Cristiano Ronaldo. It's Højlund. Højlund, like, no offence, I don't think Højlund would have scored. Like, Højlund, you'd back a good striker to score. I don't think Højlund would have scored. Like, honestly, Martinez. And do you know what? I liked that he did that. Because I was so fed up of the comms glazing Martinez. I don't know about that game, but the whole comms are glazing Emi Martinez. Absolutely creaming over Emi Martinez. And he goes and does that. And he makes the comms look like a twat. So thank you, Martinez. But I'm going to tell you this now. If Victor Gyökeres had played in that game, he would have got a hat-trick. Victor Gyökeres would have got a hat-trick today. And do you know what? Good football. I don't care about the results if we're playing football like that this season. Next season, results matter. But all I wanted to see was good football today, and we saw good football. We saw patterns, we saw rotations, we saw United playing well. Ayden Heaven, how good was he today? Hopefully he's not injured. Concerns with Delo and concerns with Mazraoui injuries, but maybe they just don't want to go post-season tour. Can you blame them? But I thought Ayden Heaven was excellent. I thought Bruno was excellent. I thought Amad was excellent. I thought Mason Mount had a very lively game. I thought Dorgu had a really good game, by the way. Kobbie Mainoo had a few nice touches when he came on, but I think he just needs to get back to fitness. But I looked at that game and I went, United are playing good football. You're seeing the system. It's working well. Of course, Villa not pressing us massively helps. Of course, having 10 men in the second half, it's hard to judge. But we did really well against 11 men. And I thought it's going to be one of those games, like the Nottingham Forest game, where actually we were the better team and we lose 1-0 because we have the lack of quality in attack. And I think had Villa had 11 men and pushed for it more, it probably would have ended that way. So I think while Manchester United play well, and while this is the best performance we've had since 4-0 win over Everton under Ruben Amorim, I do look at it and go, we have to get Victor Gyökeres if we can get him over Rasmus Højlund. We have to get Mbeumo and we have to get Cunha in. Because Mbeumo, Cunha and Victor Gyökeres is the front three with Amad Diallo at right wing back, and we could win that 4-5-0. I'm not saying we're going to do that. What I'm saying is that's what we need. It's very obvious. United were dominant. United play good football. United play pretty football. Defensively, we're not bad. One thing under Ruben Amorim is defensively we're not bad. We have mistakes in us because we have 2 plonker goalkeepers. Get a good goalkeeper. Get another wing back so Mazraoui can become a permanent centre back for depth. Maybe get a young centre back, a little bit like Ayden Heaven, just for depth as well. Because Euro De Ligt have injury issues. Mazraoui's had injury issues in the past. Leach has injury issues. But I'm just looking at it now. Joan Garcia, £21 million. Get a good wing back in, 30 million quid. Okay, that's 50 million quid. Get a good centre back in for 10 quid, 10 million quid. So that's 60 million quid. Good young centre back. See if you can find a good profile player. So that's 60 million quid there. Okay. Go and get a good midfielder that's energetic. I would love Stiller, probably not going to happen. Belieber, probably not going to happen. Belieber's 80 million. That's 140 million. You're looking at Mbeumo 50 million, 190 million. Cunha 60 million, 250 million. Gyökeres is 55 million, 305 million. So we're looking, let's round it up, 320 million just in case. All I'm saying, and I know that my connection's just gone really laggy, so I apologise if the video quality is bad, is you sell Rashford, you sell Garnacho, you sell Anthony, you sell Sancho, the pure profits, you get, a couple other players off. Alvaro, we're going to get another 15 million for that if he goes to Real Madrid. We can actually afford to spend 300 million. Believe it or not, we could. If we get 60 million for Garnacho, 40 million for Rashford, 40 million for Anthony, 25 million for Sancho, we can afford to spend money. Right, I've changed over to 4G because my Wi-Fi was just having an absolute, spaz moment. But what I'm trying to say is, and I know it's not FIFA, and I know we're not going to buy Gyökeres, Cunha and Mbeumo in one window. We can only dream. I know we're probably not going to get Belieber. I know that we're probably going to do something disappointing in the window. We don't know if we can get Onana out. We don't know if we can get so-and-so out. But all I'm saying is we need to have a good transfer window. We have a good transfer window. We get some good attacking talent, and we could be all right. I'm not fully convinced by Ruben Amorim. I've said that, but I'm not Ruben Amorim out because, we need to reset the culture. We need to reset the players before anything. And today, that performance from Manchester United, that said to me, they know Ruben Amorim's going to be there next season. Ruben Amorim wanted to give Man United fans maybe something to believe in for next season, to show something to the board of why you've got to back me next season. And that performance from Manchester United, if we play like that in most games under Ruben Amorim next season, and we actually have good attackers on the pitch, because I'm telling you now, Victor Gyökeres, with the chances we're creating today, if we did that the whole of next season, Victor Gyökeres is getting 20 goals. If we do that, then I believe it can work. If we play like that next season, if Ineos give Ruben Amorim the players that he needs next season, I believe it can work. All I'm going to say is we don't even have to go super expensive. Look at Ayden Heaven. Look at how still Ayden Heaven is. Let's hope he doesn't become an injury-prone player. But for £1.5 million, Ayden Heaven, he plays over Luke Shaw, and Leach is going to have competition when he comes back, especially because Leach will take time to come back. Lenny Yoro is the right centre-back. He is absolutely excellent. Ayden Heaven will be the left centre-back long-term. De Ligt will probably be the central centre-back. We're obviously going to have Mazraoui in for backup at right centre-back. We're definitely going to need another option at centre-back for depth. Maguire can be back up to De Ligt at central centre-back, so-and-so. We need another wing-back. You've got Dorgu and Amas at left wing-back, Delo and Mazraoui at right wing-back. Mazraoui I want more as a centre-back. We need another wing-back. We need another wing-back. We need another midfielder that's good in, athletically, but also can progress the ball. We need the front line. But it was a good performance from Manchester United. Well, everyone will talk about Villa, everyone will talk about VAR, but that is the best performance from Manchester United in the Premier League under Ruben Amorim, and I think we needed that. Even though I felt like no emotion going into this game, even though I was kind of not bothered going into this game, I think I needed that win. I think I've been so down about the Europa League, so down about the future of this club. I think I needed a performance, and it's just a one-off performance, and it frustrates me because it's like now you decide to show up. It's almost like this team only shows up when there's no pressure on them. When they've got nothing to lose, when there's no pressure on them, they show up. And there's definitely a mental issue at this club and a mentality issue at this club. But it does make me think, now is when you decide to show up. And while that proper frustrates me, and I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I came to pause because of a stupid laptop, at least I can go into next season saying, this is the system, this is the way he wants to play, this was a dominant performance. The second half was, of course, against 10 men, but that first half against 11 men, that was a good performance, that was a dominant performance, that's what I want to see next season. But we wouldn't have won that game had Martinez not got sent off. I think Villa would have been better in second half, I think, because we can't score, Villa would have scored and capitalised on the mistakes. You can clearly see the problem at Man United starts with the top and the bottom. And the top and the bottom is not me talking about the Glazers or talking about the players. It's actually talking about the goalkeeper and the striker. Victor Gyökeres and a competent goalkeeper, because if we have a competent goalkeeper, they wouldn't have made that error. Villa wouldn't have scored anyway. If we had a competent striker, we would have been 2-0 up by the time that Bayern made that mistake. So we need a competent goalkeeper, we need a competent striker, we need business all round. But at least I saw something today that goes, okay, that's our amorim system. It did work in a Premier League game. Why haven't we seen that all season? I'm fuming about that, but something to build around. Thank you for watching. Bye.